What is up, guys? Rick Kakis here, and today we are taking a look at The Division. Now, this game has had a pretty interesting history on this channel. When the beta for The Division first came out, and when the initial release of The Division happened, I covered it pretty extensively, made quite a few Division videos. But in the end, I pretty much stopped playing The Division in favor of covering Destiny full time. Now, there were several reasons to this, one of them being that at the time I was still in university, and covering two games full time and being in university was just, too much to ask. But also, The Division did have major problems with it, especially when it first came out. When The Division initially released, once you got to that max level, the end game was quite literally doing the Dark Zone. But if you didn't want to do the Dark Zone, you had to just do the same missions you already did on higher difficulties. It would essentially be if Destiny had no raid and the end game was the Nightfalls, and that was it, right? Like, it was really, really limited in what you can do. However, in fairness to The Division, Destiny's endgame and Destiny, when it first released, wasn't looking too good, and over time they fixed it, and there's several expansions and free updates that have come out since then that have really improved the Destiny endgame and Destiny as a whole. The Division is actually going through kind of the same transition. They've had several major patches, patch 1.1, 2, 3, and 4, which we're specifically going to focus on today. But all these patches have, introduced pretty awesome things, high-value targets, rebalances, etc., to overall improve the Division experience. So, in the back of my mind, although I've stopped playing the Division pretty much entirely, I've always been keeping track of what's going on for the Division because I never really hated the game. I definitely had my problems and issues with it, but the Division still was an overall fun experience. I got several tens of several hours out of the Division. I had a lot of fun in it, but again, it just didn't have that staying power. However, we're taking a look at it today because something big has happened for the Division. I'm sure you guys might know it's kind of climbing the charts in Steam. And there's a very good reason for that. And one of the main reasons is patch 1.4. Now again, the Division's endgame has never been its strong point, and although it has introduced more things like incursions, those are basically glorified missions. However, patch 1.4 introduces something that really changes the game. 1.4 has introduced world tiers, and if you're a Destiny player, pay attention because this is something that Destiny should seriously look at. Essentially now there's 4 world tiers, and you can just press the start menu or go to the map, select a world tier, and change the difficulty, change the level of all of the enemies throughout the entire Division world to a certain level. So I selected the most difficult world tier where everyone is level 33. Doing so will just restart your game instance, and again, all of the enemies are now level 33. They have all scaled up to that world tier. And so now the entire game is the end game. You can walk around the entire New York City map, and one of the strong points of the Division was its amazingly crafted and incredibly detailed rendition of a becoming post-apocalyptic New York City. Now you can roam across the entire map. There's roaming bosses that are just walking the streets, and you'll see me encounter one in the gameplay. There's supply drops just like in the Dark Zone that will come out of the air just in single player now, and so the entire map of the Division is opened up for endgame play, and I was really surprised. I was killing just normal red health enemies, and if I was lucky enough to get a loot drop, like I got a high-end gold loot drop, it was the higher gear score. It was a 229 gear score, I believe, which is kind of like a pretty good gear score. The gear score is going to be raised with the next DLC, but still, that's a pretty relatively high gear score. And actually, just dicking around, going back to the Division and seeing what's going on, I ended up getting an assault rifle that was better than the one I was using. And a good, I think it was a tactical ACR. And actually, when I go over this tactical ACR, if you're a Division player, pay attention to all of the changes they've made to the attachments. No longer putting on a magazine used to increase your rate of fire by 30%, just absurd values that change the entire behavior of your gun. They've really toned that back down. And to compensate for this, they've also toned down the enemies. The Division, as Destiny was kind of as well, is known for its bullet sponge bosses. You are emptying magazine after magazine after magazine in a guy's head, and it's just like, what is going on? This guy's taking no damage. They've actually toned that down now, and enemies are more reasonable to kill. So this is awesome. Like, I actually had a lot of fun going back into the Division just by myself. Like, I didn't have to get a party. Going into the Dark Zone by yourself can be pretty bleak, and I could just hang out and chill and walk around the world map and encounter enemies and fight them. And I'm doing the intel missions to get, again, intel to do the high value target missions and stuff, and I'm just enjoying myself and actually getting loot that's relevant to the end game. Fantastic. What if they actually did that in Destiny, had patrol modes scale up to the maximum level, so you actually had a relatively difficult time, you actually had a fight on your hands if you went into patrol mode, but then also made patrol mode exclusive loot, had weapons and armor, just like how there is Strike exclusive weapons and armor, there would be Venus exclusive weapons and armor. So in patrol mode on Venus, you get really high chances to get them, or higher chances to get them if you did a public event and stuff. Wow, that would open up so much more activities to do in Destiny. So many more places to go that you never go would now be like worth going to in Destiny. It's just a fantastic idea, and it's really awesome that the Division did this, because again, going back and playing this world tier was a lot of fun. I thought this was a really interesting addition. So if you haven't played the Division for quite a while, as I had, it's definitely worth taking a look back and, loading up the Division again, seeing what has changed, because actually a lot has changed. Furthermore, something else I want to talk about that's upcoming in the Division, it's something that I'm really looking forward to, because even though I haven't been covering the Division that much and getting back into Division, it's kind of hard to do the type of videos I do on my channel, which are a lot of guide videos and stuff like that, when I'm not really hard into a game, because obviously I have to be like the max level and be able to do all this content to, do proper guides on what's going on. But something that's up and coming that actually looks really, really fun, and I would love to cover, potentially make videos on, do live streams on, etc., is survival mode. This is, sounds so much fun, actually. So the new DLC is coming, Survival. It is a paid expansion, but it's introducing the new game mode, the survival game mode, after, it's named after the DLC as well. Now, this survival game mode is quite literally a Hunger Games Battle Royale style game mode in the Division. It's kind of like the H1Z1 King of the Hill, but in the Division. You start out, you spawn into the world map with 24 other players, and the entire world map is open, and you just start with a pistol, no gear, and you have to survive. So you're going through the world, encountering enemies, trying to get loot, you're finding, green and blue shotguns, and hopefully maybe some purple stuff as well, and equipping it as you go, making your character better and better. And you can, again, encounter other players, you can team up with them, or you can kill them, it's kind of like the Dark Zone style, but your goal is to make your way to the very center of the map and extract by the end of the game. And they last for, I think developers said, 2 hours. That sounds like a really fun experience. Again, H1Z1 King of the Kill, I think I called it King of the Hill before, but the King of the Kill thing, that's such a popular game. It's one of the top games on Steam, and they're basically putting a version of that into the Division. That's awesome. That sounds so much fun. And the best part is that if you don't want to deal with the Dark Zone bullshit, if you don't want to deal with other players killing you out of nowhere, although that is the purest experience and that's going to be really fun to play, the survival mode actually comes with a PvE game type. When you click survival, the developers showed off, you can click PvP, which is the normal mode, and then you can click PvE as well, where you have other players in this environment and you're still competing with them. You're still stealing their loot out from under them, because you can only loot something one player gets to loot it, the other player, doesn't get to it, but you can't actually kill other players. So you're pitched against the AI mainly. You still have other players that can kind of screw you over, but not actually kill you. So that is an awesome experience. The players who don't want to experience the Dark Zone PvP have the option to just select the PvE version. So, the Division, although I haven't played it for a very long time, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have maybe had it on the back shelf for a very long time, my goodness, things are looking up. The Division developers, I have to give it to them, they are really improving the game. They are really doing some great ideas, especially this world tier idea. it is a great thing to have the ability to have a relatively more casual game mode, go and explore the entire world. You don't need to have a full party to do this. You can do this by yourself, and you're still experiencing the end game. You're still getting decent loot. And that is an awesome idea, and it's an idea that, again, Bungie should definitely consider for Destiny. Right now, the patrol modes really aren't being utilized too much, and think about that. Massive portions of Destiny you don't really go to at all, or at least you don't care about. Maybe you'll go to them to finish some gunsmith weapons, but even then, it's a rare occasion. So the Division has found a way to make the entire map relevant to the endgame. That is something that we should, as Destiny fans, really be aware of. And again, the upcoming survival mode looks amazing, looks so much fun, and it's going to be something that I'm probably going to live stream for sure, because it just sounds like an absolute blast. So, went back to the Division, a lot of changes, a lot of rebalances, stuff like that, a lot of new activities added. This game's future is actually looking bright, and something that I may be jumping more into. Again, I'm actually recently graduated. I actually graduated university yesterday, so I'm going to have a lot more time on my hands to play potentially another game. Destiny will always be my main game. Don't be one of those people who are like, stick to Destiny. I was doing other games before Destiny. I was a dedicated Battlefield 4 channel before I started Destiny. If I would have listened to those people, I would have never started Destiny. But I will always cover Destiny. It has a special place in my heart, but even the staunchest Destiny fan knows that there's huge portions and huge times in this game where not too much is going on, and therefore having another game to fall back on and produce content for and have fun in is definitely a good idea. Mass Effect also looks bloody fantastic, so that's definitely going to be a game I'm looking into as well. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, enjoyed this little look at what's going on in the Division right now. And if you want to see me cover the Division, make sure to support this video. If this video gets like 4,000 views, and that's it, I'm probably not going to have a huge motivation to go back in the Division. So if you want to see that happen, again, please remember to support this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny or potentially Division content, also please remember to subscribe. And if you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.